another Wednesday masterclass here on Adobe Live. Now, just quickly, if you're watching on YouTube, that's fine, you can do that. But what you won't be able to do is get involved in the chat with our fabulous community and ask our amazing guest questions. So come along to behance.net/Adobe Live. You can speak to me, the community, and our guest, Sarah. Hi, Sarah, how are you doing?
Hi, morning, Tony. Good, thank you. Doing well.
Perfect. Really, really good. So as you know, Sarah, because you've done this a few times now, we have a fabulous community around us, new people joining all the time, but we do have some regular suspects who are in here quite often. So I'm just going to give a shout out to some of those. We've got Kirsty, we've got Andreas, guten Tag, we've got Jackie's here, Jackie all over it, Michelle, we've got Angus, of course, we've got Gareth here. No motion today, Gareth, but anyway, not to worry. We've got all Sean's here as well, Steve's here, Kiora, Steve, Oliver's here. They're all in. Hi, everyone. So we've got a real treat in store today, I think. Sarah, you gave me a bit of a heads up in an email last night about what you were planning on doing, but now is the time to share your cunning plan with everybody else. So what are we doing?
Well, first of all, don't build it up. It's not over till the fat lady's singing and the file is saved. But usually on Book Cover Live, I'm taking the opportunity to work on a book cover that I've never actually worked on before in real life, either because it's challenging or no one's done it, or it's a book I've always wanted to do. But this is completely different because it's a book I have done a cover for. And more significantly, nobody else has ever done a cover for this book, only me. And because this is this session in historical eras, like it was last week, I thought it'd be quite fun to go not quite as far back as last week, which was the late 1800s, and this time look at book design and inspiration and the aesthetic of the 1960s.
Wow.
So I'm taking a book cover that I've already done, which is this book here, which you'll be familiar with. It's a book of horror stories for children. So it's a children's book, which I've also never done on Adobe Live before. But we're imagining that I have transported myself back in time along with the author, and this book has been written in the early 1960s, which was a great time for horror stories generally, and a sort of resurgence of horror writing with the likes of Ray Bradbury. And horror anthologies really started to pick up in this period as well. So I'm imagining that that's what's happened. I've gone back in time, and how very different this cover might look if it was to be done in that period.
Cool.
That's what we're doing today. Fingers crossed it'll work out. If it doesn't, we'll both have learned something.
I say it's good to
as we always do.
Yeah. It's good to experiment. And just for anybody joining who's new, Sarah, by the way, I'm not going to get Sarah to go through her whole bio again, but Sarah is a very, very accomplished illustrator, lettering artist, and someone who has done heading towards 1,000 book covers. Her covers are very, very popular. She's much in demand. Her illustrations generally are very, very popular as well, not just her covers, but fantastic work. And you can check that out on her website, which Tim will pop into the chat for you. So there you go. It's another reason to be on the chat here on behance.net/Adobe Live. There you go. So Sarah, I think you've got some things to share and show as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
We go along. So let's get cracking.
Okay, so I thought what would be interesting is, first of all, if we have a quick look at, can you see that okay on your screen? All coming through well? Yeah? So I had a look through for some particularly resonant covers from the 1960s. And it's interesting because when we talk about a period like that, we're talking about, we casually mention, say, the 50s or the 60s. And we're talking about a whole period of 10 years, which is quite interesting, really, because within that space of 10 years, as we know from our own, let's say, recent decade, styles and influences can change radically from one year to the next. So this is a broad summary. What was happening in 1960s in book design is this very bold, graphic, but very sort of organic look as well. So bear in mind these covers look old because they are old, but what we're trying to do is picture when they were new, what these would have looked like brand new. So you'd have a lot of colours with covers with sort of 1, 2 or 3 covers maximum, the turquoise here, the white paper, and then the black. Very strong graphics, of course, happening at the same time. I could have done a whole section just on this look here. Again, just 2 or 3 colours at work there over the paper. Yeah. And this one's really interesting as well. Again, just 2 or 3 colours, and almost this sort of wax crayon resist on this one.
Yeah.
The drama of this one, again, this very sort of autographic, almost crayon-like appearance. Classic Ray Bradbury here, brilliant use of that font. You don't see enough of that font these days. It probably got done to death. Excuse the font.
I remember doing a poster in that.
Did you? I would like to see that. It's beautiful. And again, this one, what I like about this one, I'm just going to enlarge it slightly. At the bottom here, you can just see the evidence of the registration being slightly out of kilter. I hope you can see that there, where the colours haven't quite lined up, which is accidental, I'm sure, but a really nice look.
Yeah, Moscow, 1960.
I know, amazing. I don't know if anybody speaks Russian who's watching, but I'd like to know what that title actually is. So large hand-drawn titles were very popular, just as they are actually today. All would have been hand-drawn. I think even the author name here is hand-drawn, and definitely this subtitle here. Again, you can picture how this looks on a sheet of paper. Someone's got some ink and a brush, and they've literally inked that out, and that's it. That's the artwork. So some strong themes really to draw upon for this cover today. That's amazing, isn't it, that one?
Do you know, you could almost say that was done yesterday here. There's so much in there that is with the modern sort of vogue. It's It's
almost like a woodcut or a lino print even. Again, the just limited colour palette really adds to that, but pure drama as well. I absolutely love that one. So this is a look at the sort of variety of what was happening in design at the time. Again, large hand-drawn titles. That one's a really nice one as well. Again, these scratchy brush marks here have particularly influenced how I'm going to try and tackle today's book cover. You can see every bit of the very organic sort of paper-based work, because of course none of this would have been done digitally. No. So just to pull together, to back that up, pulled some books from my own collection. I was learning German for the first 6 months of this year before things got really busy, and then it fell off the radar. Sorry, feel bad about that. This was one of the really old, very early 60s textbooks I was using. And originally I got this book because I loved the cover, particularly the sort of gothic looking title at the top, which has clearly been done with an ink pen. And again, this beautiful sort of almost out of register 2-colour print on the front. This is from my own collection as well, this fantastic handbook on needlework. And this is the book I've chosen to set the size of today's book, because it's actually, I'm holding it in my hand, it's actually quite a slim volume, which I think a children's book would be. Slightly taller and slightly narrower, so it feels like a nice proportion for a children's book. So I've chosen that one to sort of be our template for the size. Got some beautiful details on here, this lovely brushwork and hand-drawn lettering as well. Yep. So again, just whizzing through some textiles, some references of the day, what was going on in print and design in the 60s. What you could do with so very few colours, really. Yeah,
lots of optical blending there and overprinting, lots.
Yes, really nice. The kind of thing that looks very crude and uncontrolled, but actually probably took an awful lot of work to get looking good. Again, I love the slight. It's beautiful, isn't it? This one. Let me just enlarge.
We've got a blind like that in our kitchen.
Have you?
Yeah.
I mean, the
style is very, very similar.
It's a good question, actually. I don't actually know if this one is old or new. It certainly looks of the period. If it's not literally of the period, it's definitely heavily influenced by. And again, you've got that lovely, slightly out of register appearance and extremely limited palette. Another book from my own collection, this tiny little school book on farming, which has this, I mean, I don't know why you would pick this lovely diamond texture pattern for a book on farming, but there we have it. Very dry text, not enough pictures inside, but lovely cover. So yeah, really looking at these kind of, I can hear Tony making noises of, that's nice.
I know, I do like them.
I love it. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. Just taking these solid blocks of colour and then sort of working over them. So I started
Jackie's
to
saying in the chat that she's not surprised that you get so much work because you have such great understanding of eras and research. And a quick question from Jane, if I might. Have you ever done an Agatha Christie cover or been tempted to do an Agatha Christie cover?
Do you know what? I've never been asked, but I would love to. Would love to. It's a great suggestion. I'm putting it out there. I'm doing some cosmic ordering. Yeah. And send me an Agatha Christie series. Freelance gods, send me an Agatha. Nice one to do. But no, not to date. No. So just to give you some background, I wanted to try and recreate some of the things I've seen in my own sketchbook before tackling them digitally, because obviously I need to kind of know how they feel with sort of, if you like, hands-on media before trying to bring that into Photoshop and doing it that way. So this was a question of working with a very particular kind of pen that I've got, and I'll try and show you that pen in action, just to show you what pen it is that actually creates that that look. It's got a very soft brush end, and the ink is sort of kind of restricted in the way that it comes through. So I'm just trying some letter forms there. It responds magnificently to pressure, so you can get very, very thick and thin with that.
Yeah.
So I know I won't get precisely this look. I'll get something that's unique in its own way, but that's the kind of feel that we're going for. So in the sketchbook, I started to just work with marker pens and this particular brush pen from Japan. And today's book cover is actually going to involve my nemesis. So I've got two nemesis. One is drawing animals. Try not to draw animals because it's just a terrible experience for all concerned, particularly the end viewer. And I try not to draw hands because they're extremely difficult. I just can't get hands right. I probably need to do a course in hands. But today's book is going to involve a lot of hands. Again, working with the pen to try and recreate some of those things that I've seen on the book covers. A little bit of video here again showing just a bit more experimenting. Didn't quite line the camera up, forgive me.
That's all right. It's I love that you really do make a great effort on these shows, Sarah, for bringing in these little details. I love it.
Well, I think
I'm sure everybody else does as well.
I hope so. I mean, it's really just trying to give context to the way that I work a lot of the time, because the way I work digitally and the way I work non-digitally are seamless. They're all part of the same process. So one does not replace the other, and vice versa. So it's kind of giving context really to, this is how I would sketch a cover out anyway. I would start in the sketchbook, howsoever it was produced, whether it was produced on an iPad or directly in Photoshop. It all starts in the sketchbook to begin with. And so in the sketchbook, I was just trying to pull out some of the things from the 13 stories, these little horror stories in the book, and trying to work out how that might look. And then once again, looking at just playing around with some colour in the sketchbook as well, and trying to see how the overlaps might have worked and what we can do with different shades and colours.
People, by the way, saying that you rock the streams. They love your streams.
Oh, that's lovely
to hear.
And
they love the little prepared earlier bits. So,
Here's one I made earlier.
I know. Well, it's gorgeous. It's great as well, to watch you work. I
think you've got one of these pens. Did you? I think you purchased one of these. These lovely
from your shop?
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
what's
I did,
nice
yeah.
about these pens is they take cartridges, so it's not a one-time use. You buy it and you can refill it.
Oh, actually, I don't know if I have that one, but I will buy later on. Okay.
I will hold it up. We can see it.
Yeah. I definitely haven't got that one yet. Yeah, no, I haven't.
You got it? No.
I'll order some later.
Yeah, beautiful in the hand.
Mm.
So there we go. So ended up with, some sort of practice runs, some vibes, what we're going to try and create digitally today. And hopefully I can do a reasonable synthesis, again, with its own vibe. Sort of hesitate to use the word synthesis because it kind of feels almost like it's a poor cousin, but that's not the case at all. It's going to be different, and it's going to be its own thing.
Yes. It'll be a little bit I just thought of something.
Yeah.
It'll be a little bit sci-fi as well. This won't just be a horror story, because if it's back in the 60s, you're gonna have to explain away that phone and cyberbullying.
We'll overlook that. Yes. I did realise as I was going through the stories, there's things in there like a microwave and a mobile phone, which
it's fine. The idea
we're okay.
around the cover is still a good idea. It's a great idea.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I looked at so many of those book covers, and they start with this very warm background, and not a cold white paper, certainly not a sort of pearlescent or special finish that you might see today. So just sort of going with.
I don't think any of those existed until the late 70s, those things in microplastic. Yeah.
So I'm just going to create just mock up. Again, it's difficult really, because when we see old books, wherever we see them, photographs of them, or when they're handed down to us, or like last week when I sort of got out my really antique collection, we only ever see them decades old, so we assume they've always looked like that, which is, I think that's always quite interesting for people who make props for the periods, because they're creating things new.
Yeah,
they have to, people make things, they've got to look like they've only just been manufactured.
Yeah,
and that's half the skill, I think, with you can't automatically, exactly, if you're doing something that's set in Shakespeare's day, you don't start sort of dyeing the clothes in tea, because they're brand new, they've just been made.
I've made some fictitious maps before, and in order to get a more authentic looking background texture, involved various different things, such as cold tea and coffee. Yeah,
they do
dropped
work
into a tray with the paper and they worked sort of okay, but they were in. Yeah.
I did used to I worked for a few months before I did anything freelance. I worked for a few months at the Royal Shakespeare Company. I was employed in the props department.
No way.
Yeah, and it was proper sort of hit the ground running, because I did a work placement there, and that turned into an actual job, which was really interesting, because I had to make things just to order. I worked for Bob Crowley, whose son Nathan Crowley is probably better known now for being a costume designer, and I had to make everything from Capulet wedding invites to full man-sized snake costumes and weapons and everything in between. If it involved type in particular, I would be asked to do it. It was really good. It was a really good experience, and I only got one telling off for leaving a pin in a costume. It was so deeply buried, it would never have got anywhere. But
somebody found it. I take it.
Somebody found the pin. Yeah, and that was really interesting experience. I got my first proper telling off at work. So I'm just trying to.
Gareth in the chat is just saying his boss spilt his tea on the storyboards yesterday. We were laughing at when we did that to age things. Awkward.
Oh God. So we have something. I was just mentioning that because you mentioned the tea and the coffee, and that's exactly what we would use. And there was in fact there was an entire department whose job it was just to age things. That's all they did. They aged things, and I always thought that was weird because why are we aging things? We had a very contemporary production of Romeo and Juliet set in the modern day, and that was interesting because of course nothing was aged for that one. But for today, just for today, we're going to make this one look like it has traveled through time to my future self. So hopefully we've got maybe a little bit unsubtle, but a background paper there. So this is the paper it's printed on.
Yeah.
Today usually when I'm doing a book cover, I would tackle the cover with a handsome amount of bleed on the left and the right, top and bottom, to allow for either the bits that wrap around the hardcover or the wrap around paper sleeve that is detached. I'm not bothering with that today because we don't really need it. We're not thinking about going into production, but I have allowed for a spine and a back. So hopefully, I don't know how visible this texture is. I don't know if you can see. We have got a sort of slightly fine weave texture here on that background to simulate what it might have been printed on. So I'm going to start. I've got a layer here, by the way. Keep your layers nice and tidy, people. Helps you keep track of what you're doing.
Yeah. Especially
when you're up to 200 or more layers.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I needed to find a brush which simulated as best as possible, as close as possible, the lovely Japanese brush pen that I was using, which was found on, or appeared to be found on, also those book covers, a kind of dry brush. And this one in Kyle Webster's collection from the lettering section, called Brush 2, is actually a really good one. So I'm going to use that with black, but I'm not going for pure out and out black. I'm going for something which is more like a sort of very dark brown. So we haven't got very sort of mechanical. Right, and I'm going to start, just literally go straight in and start drawing. And we'll rearrange these in a bit. Some of the things we have featured in the story. So look away now if you're not into clowns.
Nice.
There's a word for clown phobia, isn't there? Do we know what it is?
I don't know off the top of my head what that is, but there is one. Tim had it in a quiz. We have every now and then we have a little host event that Tim puts together and does amazing stuff. And we had one a little while back, and I'm pretty sure that the phobia about clowns was in there.
Somebody must know, or somebody can look it up for us while we're
pop it in the chat.
While we're doing this,
clown phobia, coulrophobia, coulrophobia.
Wow, that was quick.
There you go. Stephen's saying, I bought a part-used vintage sketchbook off eBay that turned out to be an autograph book for a school leaver in 1946, where some of his fellow pupils, including sketches. I went into a shop the other week where they were still selling autograph books. I said, I was just amazed. Do you remember them, like little puffy?
Of course. Yeah, I had several.
Did you?
Yeah, I had several. I've still got them actually in the loft. Yeah.
I had one. I can remember a couple of footballers signing it, and Britain's tallest man.
Who was Britain's tallest man?
Chris Greener, if I recall correctly. Now I'm going to have to Google that.
You are.
Find out if that's the case.
And where did you meet this person?
I think it was at Hitchin Football Club, I think. He was at one point the tallest man in the United Kingdom. There you go, I remembered it. And at the time of his death, unfortunately passed in 2015, was the 4th tallest British-born man.
So somebody had out-talled him.
Somebody out-told him. That's as things happen. At the moment, you know, Tim's riding high on being 6'8", but you know.
What? Tim's not 6'8".
He is 6'8".
Is he really?
Yeah.
That is so super tall.
Other people stand on boxes, and this is not a joke. Somebody on our team, on the host team, stood on a box to have their picture taken next to him, so they didn't look short. I mean, it was messing around, right? But it was, yeah.
I'm really impressed. Tall people are fascinating.
Yeah. I'm going to get Tim around my house, so I'm going to plaster a ceiling.
Well, do you know what? That reminds me of my dream last night. And this makes no sense to me at all, because he's not on my radar. This person isn't on my radar. I've not watched anything with him in lately. I dreamed I was married to Stephen Merchant.
Yeah.
And and he had decided that I needed to go into stand-up. And he'd prepared a show for me where I had to perform suddenly for a crowd full of people I'd never seen before, and it was horrific. I bombed.
Yeah.
I bombed, absolutely bombed. I had no jokes prepared. My eyeliner fell off. I didn't have any lippy on. I was wearing pajamas. And that's,
this is a complex dream structure.
Everything. And he was backstage kind of egging me on, like going, you can do it. And then as things started to go wrong, he was just like getting really impatient with me and going, what was that all about? You can do better. You've shown me up, kind of thing. I'm Stephen Merchant and you've shown me up. And that was my dream. Yeah, I was glad to be out of that one.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I quite often have good dream recall, but I do not. I was so tired when I got home yesterday. Oh.
And by the time I got to bed, that I don't really recall anything about last night at all. Just doing massive sleeps.
Perfect. I wanted more sleep last night, actually. I'm really tired lately. Really tired.
But lots of people are. There's so much going on in the world that, it's taxing, and it that's why it's important to make time for yourself, right? It's very important to
completely agree.
Have some you time. Which you can do, of course, by sitting here and watching you work, which is, I'm just, enjoying this immensely, as are the chat, because we're not having to do anything. You're doing all the work.
That's okay. That's quite all right. It doesn't really feel like work, if you know what I mean.
It's work and having a nice chat.
It's an effort, slight effort, but doesn't feel like work, it doesn't feel like I'm... What's nice about it is I get the chance to kind of mess about a bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sort of that kind of, nothing has to go absolutely rigidly to plan. Unlike my stand-up show last night.
Question is, do you actually know Stephen Merchant, or do you just watch an enormous amount of his content, or is it just randomly there?
No, I hardly watch anything. I don't really know much about him. I know what he's written. I know what he's been in. But I couldn't really tell you anything about him, apart from he wears glasses and he's tall. So why I would dream that I was married to him, I've got no idea. No idea. It's very funny. But he wasn't a very nice husband, as you can tell. He was a bit bullying and ultimately concerned for his own career,
right,
as opposed to my career. I'm sure it didn't last long.
Well, if you're watching Stephen Merchant by any chance and catching up on a bit of drawing with Sarah,
Yeah.
I think you should send her some flowers for being mean
I'll stick
to her
to the drawing
in her dream.
Yeah.
Making her do stand-up.
I'm a stand-up show bombed. Although, to be honest, it was a little bit like the classic anxiety dream I have where I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
So I wonder if my brain was telling me that I perhaps haven't practiced enough for today. Maybe it was that. Although, No,
it's all good. I love your little details.
Nearly 3 decades. How much practice do you need?
There you go.
Oh, I've just put that on the wrong layer. So, okay, we'll just.
I have a side project, and this will be a challenge. But I mean, it'll take you ages to find it because it's not under my own name, and I don't link to it, and I don't even follow it myself. But on Instagram, I have a little side project. I don't do very much. I think there's only about 3 on there, 3, 4. Or did I do another one? I like taking old 60s children's books, and modifying them.
Go
to
on.
Give them a completely different meaning. Do you remember like Janet and John books, those sort of things?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I like changing them, the text or the images. So I'll send you. I'm not gonna. I do have access to one here, but I'm not going to put it on stream because I don't want people to. I might show it to you later.
Oh, okay. I think I know what these are like.
It's dark. Oh, you might have seen one. I think I did put by mistake, and then I left it there. One on my Instagram. But yeah.
All right.
I wanted a whole book of them at one point. I was so influenced by an ex-Disney artist or a former Disney artist called Walt Kemble.
Yeah.
Who, his paintings were spoofs. He was a fantastic background painter, like epically brilliant. And he used to then, when they were done with, he would add things to them to make them super amusing. And I was very influenced by that.
Hide things in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, some things would be hidden in there, but he'd do other things that were just very, very funny, just little observations that were amusing. I was very influenced by that when I was a student. Yes.
Sounds good. So we can find these things, can we, on Instagram?
Well, you'll have to work at it, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You could find them on my phone. That would be easy.
I don't think anybody wants to go digging around the phone.
My phone's fine. My phone's a safe place for all. There's nothing dodgy, even remotely, on my phone. Some angry text messages.
Oh, wow. Everybody needs to have a few of those.
But even that's just a handful of those. Mainly directed at the same service provider.
Oh, do we know who that is?
No, I can't mention things like that.
Fine. Yeah. I'm having an equally, shall we say, frustrated conversation with a certain hotel chain at the moment. And it's one of those, yeah.
Well, one of my angry text messages is actually to a hotel chain.
Is it?
One
of them, does it begin with a P, does it?
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. It's not a chain I stay at very often. To be honest, the one you mean, no, I don't stay there either.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Sandrine's asking, like the Bluebird series. Yeah, those kind of things. Early Ladybird books are a favourite, but of course now that people have done so many similar things and repurposed early Ladybird books and redrawn them into new things like How to Be a Dad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's really,
I've got a few of those.
So many of those. Yeah, I've got a few odds and ends. But not a great idea to dig around other people's phones. You're right, Kirsty. No, you're right. I know somebody who fell foul of that just yesterday. It wasn't me. It was somebody that I used to do a podcast with. If you're watching, Dave.
No, you don't do it.
No.
Okay.
I have to,
and
it's one of those things I kind of have to do anonymously, because it, you know, people can take things the wrong way and they can be potentially career limiting.
Well, you know, if you have a public profile of any sort, then you really do have to be very, very careful with everything.
You don't want to damage your brand with
you say and do
tomfoolery.
No, exactly, and it is really something to think about. You know, I see people on Instagram who will call themselves, you know, a public figure, and maybe they are, you know, they do YouTube videos, whatever. But I think there's a danger in that, you know, calling yourself a public figure, because you can be so easily sort of hauled across the coals for things that you might have said as a foolish 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Not that social media existed when I was 18. Social media was meeting uptown at 5 o'clock on a Saturday.
In a park with a bottle of cider.
Yep. Absolutely. Or gin. Gin.
Yep. I'm curious to know, do you what criteria, if any, do you have for like follow backs on things like Instagram? Do you have criteria for?
I'll definitely follow them back if I'm genuinely interested and I like
work.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to see what else they're doing. I won't follow back automatically, and because I think that to a certain extent it doesn't feel very fair to do that. If I'm just following someone for the sake of it, and I know I'm not going to engage in any way with their content, then I'm not going to do it, because I think there's something there's something very satisfying about receiving a follow from somebody, and it can feel like you've started a little relationship. And as with any relationship, I think if I was I would expect that relationship to be sort of two-way, but based on genuine interaction. So I try to apply the same rule, and if I think I can interact with them and enjoy their content, then I'll follow them. But otherwise, it just feels like a sort of a hollow gesture, I suppose.
Yeah,
I'd rather follow just I don't know, let's say a couple of hundred people, and really engage with what they're doing, and actually have time to look at what people put out, than follow 2,000 willy-nilly, and just be sort of blind to what they're doing. So
it's very similar for me. It's just that there was something I was thinking about a moment ago. One thing that I never follow are people who put things like public person followed by blockchain followed by everything includes blockchain or anything like that. It's like, oh no.
No. Oh, I mean, you have to be a real person for one. That's a no-brainer. You have to be a real person, or you're definitely not getting followed.
I met another self-portrait artist this week, and she makes you might actually be interested in her work. It's kind of dark. Brooke Shaden. I'm just going to give her a shout out. She's probably on her way back to the US right now, but Brooke Shaden. She does some really interesting stuff. And I connected her with another Adobe Live guest, Claire Luxton. So I think there's they'll either cancel each other out or they'll create something amazing together. Yeah. But I think you'd like her. Her stuff's a bit dark.
Well, when you get the chance, send me a link.
I will do.
Okay, so we have crikey, ripping through time. So we've got to kind of do something now.
I want to mention to the community, by the way, don't forget, Adobe Max is next month. It's free again this year, virtual and free. There's Adobe Max Europe and Adobe Max rest of the world running at the same time. Go along and get registered now and start choosing the things you want to attend, because they will, they'll get busy. You want to make sure that you can get into the right things. I don't know if there's an actual cap on any of them, but get registered anyway. Start planning your Max visit. Are you going to watch any Max, Sarah, this year? Do you watch?
If I get the chance, yeah, I do. Yeah, if I get the chance, I will. Yeah. The advantage with having the good old-fashioned 2-screen setup is you can have something like that playing on one screen and work on the other.
Yeah.
You get some really inspirational talks as well. You just hear from your colleagues in a way that you wouldn't get the chance to otherwise.
Yeah, no, it's good. I love Max for so many reasons. It's one that it's just great. There is so much.
For one thing, it's kind of like your people. It's our people, isn't it? And you kind of get it's almost like, and I mean this with love in my heart, we're a massive bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
We all get to nerd out together.
Yeah, we do.
Which is, brilliant.
It's good stuff. Yes, so I'm just not far
continuing
away.
So when's that, Tony? What's the actual dates for that?
October 26th, I think.
Gosh,
let me just check my calendar. The Max is October 27th, 28th, and I think 29th. Let's just have a quick look.
Okay.
Let's have a quick look.
Pretty close to Halloween.
I love it when Max hits Halloween because the time changes every year. It's a slightly different time. I love Max Halloween, apart from the year where it was on Halloween. I was in San Diego.
Actually on Halloween, yeah.
Actually on Halloween. I was in San Diego.
Yeah.
Of course, Halloween Town, gas lamps area. Yeah, crazy. I was in a bar
Halloween in the States,
surrounded by 15 different versions of Batgirl. It was awesome.
Batgirl.
But no, Batgirl. Anyway, we were doing pre-conference labs, and then it was Halloween, and then Max started. So we were doing a pre-conference labs, and I had got some theatrical makeup from one of my daughters, and I had done a bit of a Baron Samedi thing.
Okay.
And I put it on in the morning, and I was in this makeup until the early hours of the following morning. And I woke up in the night and my face was on fire. I started Max in a pharmacy getting something to calm it down. My face was bright red. And I know, and I spoke to my wife and told her she FaceTime. She saw it. She said, "What's gone on with your face?" And I told her, and she goes, "How long did you have the makeup on for?" I said, "I don't know, about 16 hours or something."
It's not designed to be worn that long.
Chloe had warned me that. She also said, "Did you put the base on?" And I said, No, I just went straight to the makeup. So the base is there to protect you. She goes, "What you've done is you've effectively taken the top layer of your skin off."
Oh, so wait, does this mean that you basically had a kind of painful, long drawn out?
There we go. Can you see that?
Facial.
I know you're only looking in the sort of thumbnail, but
wow, no, I can see it. It's quite creepy, actually.
Yeah, no, it's super creepy.
I like it.
No. So yeah, and Chloe had warned me. She said it's 3 hours tops, then off it comes. And
you didn't.
I think it was 3 hours. No, I didn't. No, I'm not one of those read the label kind of people.
Oh Lord.
Well, I am now, but
yeah. How long did it take to heal?
Oh, it took a good week. But I had a meeting first thing in the morning, and I was still just on fire. We had to move the meeting up to somewhere near the pharmacy so I could see a pharmacist.
I can picture it.
Max, by the way, is the 26th to the 28th.
Okay.
Of October. So get registered, peoples.
And it's free? this year.
And it's free.
Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Totally free. Oliver's saying extreme exfoliation it is. I do not recommend it. Someone forgot to put on the foundation, says Tim. Thank you so much, Tim. Oh dear. Oh. Tim's saying, I'm not sure what is more creepy, the makeup or the lack of Tony's beard. I know. I know.
It's a good look. I like it a lot.
What, my beard?
The
whole Baron
Samedi. Yeah, totally.
It was good. I had so I have a cardboard gravestone that I made, and I had that shipped out to the US, as everyone should. No, I had it shipped out there for that event separately.
Shipped out. You say?
Yeah, separately shipped out. Yeah.
Amazing.
So I could pick it up and then had it shipped back, and then it's been to Max with me a couple more times since, but I didn't have it shipped out those times because I'd used it once. I kind of cut it so I could put it into a suitcase because it was bigger than a suitcase. But, yeah,
I'd love to do some Halloween dressing up. It's been years. It's been absolutely years since I've dressed up for Halloween.
Oh no, I do like a bit of dressing up. I just thought I'd find you a picture of that stone then, but I can actually find it in a video. But hey ho. Yeah, good fun. Unicorn saying your skin must have burned. Man, it did. I can't tell you. The Photoshop Summit. Oh, were you there, Steve? Were you? Fantastic. I had a friend in high school. Sandrine said I had a friend in high school who decided shaving was a bore and tried to remove his hair using wax strips.
Oh man! Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah. Oh man.
Why?
Wow. Does Sarah want to be drawing on the ice cream layer? Jackie's saying.
I did not. No.
Okay.
I did not. But we're all right. We're all right. We're getting.
Jane has never dressed up for Halloween. Oh no. What I'm wondering is Jane's never dressed up for Halloween. The Photoshop Summit is coming along. It is actually, think about it, if you're talking about the Dave Cross one. Perfect. Tim, last year, the thing is, I don't know because it's coincident with Max if we'll do it this year, but we normally have a game show, a host game show. It's normally Tony versus Maddie on the game show. I hope we do have it because we've built a little something for Halloween in the studios. But yeah. Yes, Dave Cross.
What have you built?
A little set, possibly. So last year I had some chemistry equipment out. Just up the chemistry equipment. You just have to wait and see.
Yeah, sounds like all will be revealed.
Oh, Tim says we are having one. Yes. Sandrine dressed up for Halloween twice. Once as Catwoman and once as the woman in the Love Boat. Okay.
Oh, I don't know the woman in the Love Boat. Do you?
Nor do I. No. It's an education, this is. I love it. Oh dear. Super good. Yeah. Nice one, Stevie.
Just very technical layers. Yellow skull blob. There we go. It's a very technical naming system for the layers. I think I usually just name them unless they're being shown to a client who needs to understand what they are and what they're referring to. Yellow skull blob will do.
Do you actually work at size? You don't work like 2 up or anything?
Usually, yes. Usually it's at least
Yeah.
150%. For this, for the purposes of client work. Yep.
Yeah.
Today,
and of course, back in the day, before computers, you used to have to, because it'd be photographed and brought down to.
So today it's just 300 DPI.
Yeah.
To size, but it's a good point, because very often I do like to work bigger, because I mean things can generally look a lot better reduced anyway. If you're working on something quite fiddly, you need to be able to really get in there, and then the smaller it goes, the nicer it looks.
Yeah, tightens everything up.
It does. Let's see. Let's get this acid yellow.
And for Tim in the background, next time you speak to Kyle, Tim, you ought to point him in the direction of this stream and see his brushes at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
he might like that.
Kyle did a stream in French just a few weeks ago.
Did he?
Yeah, guested on Adobe France and did his stream in French.
What, he spoke French?
He speaks French fluently, yeah.
Does he? Again, I am incredibly impressed by anybody who speaks more than one language. Any have we had this conversation before, Tony, about languages?
I don't know.
Do you speak any other languages?
Yeah.
Go
Espanol.
On. Do you?
Yeah. But I'm kind of like, do you remember the old Z Spectrum computers that used to have a cassette tape to load games onto them?
Yes.
I'm very much like that. I kind of have to put myself either in that country or in that zone before I do it. You know, if you randomly say, tell me how to do la, I have to think for a minute and pause. But when I'm there, once, a couple of hours, I'm kind of good. I keep going back to try and improve and try and learn more German, but I'm desperately bad at doing it. French, my French always ends up as franglais.
It's hard. German's hard. I love it, but it is very difficult. It's my favourite. My favourite language to listen to, and try and speak French? And learn. No, German.
German.
Definitely. Yeah. Not quite sure why. It feels very definite, and actually very very clearly delineated as well. You can really hear what. I think even if you don't understand what's being said, you can listen to it and kind of get the gist.
Yeah. Even
though a lot of the words might seem completely different from ours, I don't know. I guess it's just one of those I've always had an affinity for. Ever since school.
Oh, Gareth mentioned Welsh. I speak some Welsh, Gareth. I've spoken at the Welsh Assembly.
I'm impressed by that. I mean, Welsh looks like a proper mind-boggling language to learn, doesn't it?
Oh, the best. There are some epic words in Welsh that. So, do you know what the Welsh word is for microwave?
Go on.
Pop-a-dip-ping.
It's not.
It is. Yeah, I'm not joking. People often think it's a joke, but it's not. Do you know what? Do you know?
What? Wait, say it again.
There's more than one. Pop-a-dip-ping.
That's fantastic.
Do you know what the Welsh word is for heliport?
I don't know.
Hofrena.
That's lovely.
It is.
What a lovely word.
It is a lovely word. Yeah, hofrena. Yeah.
Hovering.
Do you know what okay, so I told this to somebody. We were talking about Welsh at the photography show in the after hours thing, and it just popped up in a thing. Let's try to speak some Welsh. We were talking about a couple of things in and around Welsh.
Yeah.
And about words in Welsh that sound vaguely like swearing or vaguely amusing. I'm not going to do any ones that sound vaguely like swearing in English, but words that are amusing. And I told them one, and they honestly didn't believe me. They thought it was a joke. And it's for tin of beans. Do you know what a tin of beans is in Welsh?
I would love to hazard a guess, but it's probably going to sound offensive.
Well, I'll tell you what beans are. Beans are far. Yeah.
Okay. I think I can.
So if you wanted a breakfast involving sausage and beans, it says Celtic and far. Yeah. But if you wanted a tin of beans, the word tin is exactly the same, but you have to. It's like Latin. It's reverse order, so it'd be far tin.
No. It's not.
It's not a joke. No, it really, really is.
It cannot be.
It really is. I'm not joking. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Sure. Oh, man, yesterday, because we had to do a hack, I'll tell you this while you're drawing. We had to do a little bit of a hack because the AV system for my Photoshop iPad session suddenly rejected my iPad. Something went wrong between it, and all it would show was the Photoshop icon on screen.
Okay.
So very quickly, we got out my laptop and connected the iPad to the laptop, and then used QuickTime to broadcast the laptop screen, which works, right? It's not ideal, but it works. So I was showing that. The only thing is, what I should have done was periodically just tap the trackpad on my screen to make sure that the laptop stayed awake. Because halfway through, it went into the screensaver. And I've got a really offensive message in Latin.
Okay.
Fortunately, it was in Latin on my screen. And it didn't used to be in Latin. It used to be in English. And it was just a joke at work, for my daughters, relating to not coming anywhere near my laptop. And
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Wonderfully, I'd put it there in Latin. So I was quite lucky, but there were a couple of people who obviously knew what it meant in Latin. That was one of the questions I got in the Q&A. I said, you'll have to ask me that question once I'm not mic'd up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I love it.
Yeah.
Parenting.
Very well. Yeah. This is shaping up lovely.
It's looking a bit something right now. I think it's one of those that it's definitely gonna, she said, it's gonna come together at the last minute. It's looking a bit it's looking a bit childlike, and it's kind of how it's supposed to.
No, it's good. It's good, and everybody's getting, it's nice and relaxing watching you do this stuff as well. It's good.
We were talking about this off before the stream started, but how much I move everything around as I'm working. So I'm zooming in, zooming out, moving things out of the way all the time. And you and Tim and I were talking about that, but I was just explaining really that one of the reasons for that is because it's almost like this is how I would work in real life, if you like. My paper will move around on the desk and I'll spin it round and I will turn it to a 45-degree angle or more where my transform bar earlier. And just obviously I'm bobbing my head around a lot as well, and kind of my tools will constantly move on the desk as well. So when you've got I might be moving my palettes around a bit because we were discussing that as well. So just kind of to put that in context really, in terms of how everything moves across the screen. And that's why I think, because that's how things on what I call the messy desk would move as well.
Do you not create layer groups with?
I do sometimes. I do sometimes. It depends what I'm doing. I mean, obviously it's quite tempting to do that.
Yeah.
Keeps things tidy. In fact, let's do it because it's good practice. Groups are really handy. I mean, there was something I was working on the other day, which just had an absolutely crazy amount of layers. And
you can just Command G them as well, right? You can just
no.
But yeah, you were saying crazy amount of layers.
No, go on. So Command. Oh, can I do right click?
Command G. Yeah, just do Command G, and it will group.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Didn't ask for that. That's okay. Let's go for light.
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
What did I do?
I think you accidentally hit F on your keyboard and created a frame.
Oh, you know what? You see this finger?
Yeah.
I cut it yesterday with a scalpel.
Ooh.
And it's a bit like hitting the keyboard with a little lump hammer. So, and I've just actually realised I can't actually feel the end of it anymore. I'm going to have to take the plaster off because the finger has gone almost completely numb, which might be.
So now suddenly we're in Holby City.
We are A&E. It could be why I keep sort of like lumping different keys by accident. So, that feels better. I can feel the blood coming back now.
Yeah. Tim says, pro tip, don't cut your finger.
You know, it is the right.
Oh, it's always a 10A, Gareth. Always.
Wait, well, of course it is. So it was a 10A. It was a 10A.
Yeah.
And it was right across the top. It wasn't even, it was just right on the...
Enough.
So,
some of the audience are screaming. Well, I'm fine, but some of the audience are screaming.
So what is the shortcut for grouping?
Command
G.
And
G.
Yeah.
See, every day is a school day. And I think I've duplicated there as well. Yeah, I have. Dump that. Yes. Dump that. Yes. Yeah, I was working on a new series of book covers last week, and I was doing the first 3. But for some reason, when I was working up the roughs, I decided to do all 3 covers. See, I've done it again. Let's try this short. I decided to do all 3 of these book covers in one document. I'm still not quite sure why I did that. And then, because I kept thinking, well, I'll be able to split them up.
Yeah.
And send separate files for each cover when the client asks. And of course, the client just said, just quickly, like send me what you have right now. And the layers were obviously not in chaos because that's not how I roll, but I had to do a lot of layer grouping at that moment in time because she just would not have. It would have been like cutting down a forest, like making your way through an overgrown forest, trying to kind of get to what she needed to get to at that point. So
nice.
I did a lot of grouping then. It's all very crude. I say this on every stream, but what I'm doing here is
true to what you're trying to emulate. I think it's, you're getting a bit of misregistration in there. It's.
I always explain.
Because remember that those shapes, things like that, may not have even been brushed. They might have been cut from Rubylith film. So somebody's have to interpret the illustration and
bit of collage in there. So we're not.
Also,
I
was going to ask you, when you work with your brush,
yeah,
do you always resize using the right click slider to do that? Is that how you do it, or do you?
Yeah, always.
Yeah,
because I don't want to take my hand off the brush.
Aha.
So I guess that's why.
Yeah. Nice.
Right. Let's give the skull a bit of This one's kind of been felt out a bit as it goes along, which is usually I know kind of every stage of the process is pretty much mapped out for these, but this one's a little bit more. Oh, hang on, what did I do there? This one's a little bit more. Make it up as you go along. See how it works.
Yeah.
She's good. Fine for Adobe Streams, not fine.
Yeah.
For a stand-up comedy show.
I hope those flowers are on the way, Stephen Martin. That's all I can say.
You can tell it's going to stay with me. It's really bothered me. I woke up feeling just horrified at my own performance. I was dying on stage. Good evening, everybody. Did you hear the one about, All right. Okay. And now then, I also, I know what I'm going to do. Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
There we are.
It's working. Kind of have to audition every brush first. They're all kind of, they've been picked out and put in the folder ready, but you almost have to sort of audition them and check they're going to do the thing you want.
Carl does do a PDF of all of the brush tip strokes, or did do. I don't know if he still does. Actually, I'll have a quick check.
I think he does, and I think I've seen it actually. And sometimes it's just about how it feels in the hand. I mean, I actually struggle to control them on a Wacom. It might not look like that, but different brushes behave different ways, and sometimes I just struggle to get the look that I want. Because it's a case of it's not you, it's me. My hand doesn't want to go the way that.
I still like making my own. I like making my own in Capture. Yeah, I made one, an Egon Schiele-like brush, so I could emulate Egon Schiele type strokes really well, and that was perhaps my most successful brush.
Is it shareable?
I still use that a lot. Yeah, I could share it actually. Yeah. Without a note, I'll have a quick look while we're doing this. Let's just see. Jane had the same dream 3 times, reversing her wheelchair backwards onto the tail ramp of her transit and falling off. That was a horrible dream.
Wow.
Jane.
Wow. Get it out though. Once you've got a dream out.
Oh no, it's that, and it gets worse. Oh no, that's a terrible dream. Well, let's hope you don't have that one again, Jane. Craig once did a stand-up open spot and made it. It went well. The second one did not. Same. I had to try it. It was at Crocker's in Ilkeston in Derbyshire in the 1980s. Yeah.
Well, this is real. You did this.
Yeah, I did. I've tried loads of things. Everybody, this is one of the things, Sarah. People who watch this regularly quite often joke about the number of different jobs and things I've tried, but I just think, you're only here once potentially, so.
Very true. Very true.
As long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
The legendary bat. The legendary bat thing.
Yeah. Mick Fenimore and Phil. I can't remember what Phil. Anyway, but yes, bats. Warwickshire Nature Conservation Trust, Warnact, and the Amber Valley Wildlife Project. And I had a comic strip in the newspapers at that time.
Did you?
Yeah, regional newspapers, but a couple of 3 newspapers. Derby Evening Telegraph.
You are a dark horse.
I am. And I've got no intention of changing.
No, don't.
No repentance.
Well, I have a not so secret past in the wedding industry. And I still have a list of clients for whom I had to sign NDAs because of how high profile they were, stroke are, which is exciting.
Wow. That's epic.
I was briefly the wedding stationer to some of the not A-list stars.
Wow.
Very interesting time of life.
I bet I know at least one of the people who've hired you for their nuptials, but
you do.
But you won't be able to tell me, so you know.
No, go on. I can confirm or deny. I think it's okay now, actually, to say who they are. Yeah. It was just at the time I couldn't divulge. I could now. One of them was oh, he's gone. Oh, showing my age. There was the name. Very famous racing driver, Scottish.
Yeah. Right.
Coulthard.
Ah.
Coulthard
I can remember everybody liked it. Yeah.
He's a lovely bloke.
Wow.
Lovely bloke. His wife was lovely as well. Wife to be was lovely as well. Who else did he have?
Yeah. Tim thinks that must have been after my career as a contortionist. That's one thing I've never tried, Tim. Nor am I likely to.
Contortionist?
No.
Well,
my sister's hypermobile.
Is she?
You probably could do it. Yeah. Not that we speak very often. But she's got hypermobility. She can do bonkers, crazy stuff with her arms and whatever.
It's kind of about the spine, isn't it? I'm doing a lot of snowflakes now on this cover because one of the stories in the book involves
people are loving this, by the way.
Snowman. Oh, really? Oh, that's good to know. You never know whether people are just filing the nails or gone off to make tea.
No. Steve saying this is looking really groovy, Sarah.
Well, you know, we're attempting to sort of emulate a period, and as I always say this on the streams, but we're not just kind of claiming that this is a cover that would go to press in this way. It wouldn't go looking like this. I try to recreate what I would call a really good rough, you know, a nicely finished rough where you send it to the
presentation rough.
This is what I'm thinking. Yeah, this is kind of the look that we're going for, and it's beyond the stage of a pencil sketch. They get to see the colour, but it's not as finished. I guess this is more about capturing the atmosphere more than anything else, which is kind of what we're going for on these.
And would you go as far as to turn any one of the snowflakes there that you've drawn into a brush and then dab them around?
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you asked. Let me draw one and we will do exactly that. Making brushes.
But just so you know, by the way, we're almost at the 15 minutes to go mark.
So soon.
Not quite, but almost.
Where does the time go, Tony?
Well, it just does. It just
goes. So wonky. Not having a wonky one. Not doing it. I'm resorting to Shift key to get this one straight.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh no. Will it work if I'm drawing it in white? Will it still work as a brush? Does it need to be black?
I mean,
it's black, doesn't it?
To be I would make it black. To be honest, is it just that one flake on that layer that you've got at the moment?
Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use this one.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you want to quickly fill it with black, what you could is tap D on your keyboard to give you the default colours. And then you could
do what? Sorry. Say again.
Tap D for Delta on your keyboard. That gives you the default colors. Hold down Shift and Option, and then hit Backspace, and it will fill only pixel content on that layer.
I'm going to do this. I completely lost what you were saying.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
No, it's me. It's me. Just my brain doesn't work that fast.
Sorry.
It doesn't. So
Angus is double jointed. He's got double jointed arms. He can do party tricks.
Okay. So now,
yay!
Has it worked? No.
It's picked up some of the background texture.
Yeah. Okay, let's just cancel these for a sec. And we'll get that on its own.
Yeah.
Define brush. There we go. That should work.
Yeah.
Proper flake.
Proper flake.
Now we have it.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so we turn everything back on.
Yes.
Let's pick up that cream. Test the flake. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Now we have power. We can put flakes wherever we want. We can.
Yeah, you could drop a bit of random rotation in there as well if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yep. Bit of angle jitter.
Where are we looking?
Down a little bit. Down a bit.
Oh,
so
there
just
it is.
try some angle jitter. Yeah.
I was looking for the thing.
And for the control, you could make it random. So where underneath angle jitter, where it says control, so just up a little bit from where they are, change that to random. Yeah, or rotation, which would take the rotation of the pen. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. We're not going to use that, but how beautiful is that?
But if you just dab it, you could.
Excellent. What a thing.
And if you wanted to stop the risk of actually creating more than one copy, just increase the scattering to a very large number. So just go back to that and just make it really big. Spacing rather, sorry, my bad. Go to the brush tip shape. It's there, and spacing, that's the one. Thanks, Tim.
So they're well away from each other. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, so just a dab will do that. Yeah.
Beautiful. I haven't made a brush today, actually. I usually like to make a brush. Oh, I did actually make one earlier. Let me see if I can pick it. Where is it? I did actually make this cheeky little pumpkin.
Yeah. I think I've got to hire Tim to come to my next few events and just have him in the background somewhere at the back of the auditorium. And
you're looking great.
If he just spots me making a mistake, he can just drop in. Tony, your screensaver has kicked in and you're swearing in Latin at an entire audience. Yes. Anyway, right, so we're coming up to 10 mins.
Oh, it's always over so soon.
I know.
Okay, so I did make a little pumpkin brush earlier, so I'm just scattering a few of those around. But very lightly, almost like a watermark.
I think my Halloween brushes are still available on Adobe Exchange. I've got some Halloween brushes on there.
Have you?
Pumpkins on, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So the only thing we haven't actually done here is, well, we've not done the back, which I would normally love to include on any book cover that I'm asked to do, but I haven't done the title, which is pretty important. So I'm gonna, hurriedly try and create a title, see how this works out. I might have to shift a few things around and come back to the title, but I always, by the way, if you haven't watched before, I'll always post the finished cover
on Discord
afterwards at the end.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's Discord. That's what you use, isn't it? I still haven't really got to grips with that.
Discord.
Okay.
Which is actually a great place for our community to go and continue chatting after the live stream. So Tim's just going to pop that down into the chat now, so you can come along and join us just there.
Yeah. I'd like to come along. I still haven't kind of got there and done that. I've got so many colleagues that have increasingly using Discord as a way of not using other services and platforms, you know.
Doubtless it will be great until the next one. I can remember when everybody used to be crazy for Twitch. You know, back in those days, 2 years ago.
Tony, actually, there's something I want to ask you while you're on air.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was attempting to use neural filters.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've come across this happening at all, but I was just getting constant. Every time I went to adjust a neural filter, I was just getting constant crashing. The whole thing would just quit.
There should have been an update that went yesterday, actually.
Right.
An update should have dropped into Creative Cloud. I think, I don't have the date stamped to hand, but I'm pretty sure there was one yesterday. So that might fix that. There's a couple of things changing under the hood in Photoshop at the moment. So
was that a known thing then? That was something that was happening?
I don't know if that was a known issue at the moment, but there have been a few things. And also, to access some parts, some functionality in Photoshop that are in deprecation, as in they're being removed, such as 3D in Photoshop's being removed. There is still a way there is. There's still a way to access it, but you have to disable the native canvas. The only thing is that can introduce some stability issues. So that's a known thing at the moment, but that will change very, very shortly.
All right. Okay, so it's not just my Mac doing funny things. It's
there's just stuff
as well.
It's that sort of time of year where stuff, you know, Adobe love to get the Halloween spirit in there early. You know, just introduce some
spooky things. Well, it was one of those where the error message, you know, the report that comes up tells you what's gone wrong was full of corpses and rejected floating points, and it was, as you say, it's all very seasonally correct.
Back when engineers had time to do little things like that, you see this, they don't anymore. There was a whole meeting a few weeks ago at the Creative Pro community about why aren't there any new Easter eggs in Illustrator, and I was in on the meeting and I just said, well, what do you want? Do you want more features and functionality, or do you just want to be able to have bananas in your menu like Photoshop, you know, or toast, you know? And we're going, well, more functionality. I said, well, there you are. You've answered your own question. Let's wrap this up right now.
Let's concentrate on those. Yeah.
Steve is saying apparently you can keep the current Photoshop version and run the new ones too. You can. So you would have, and as he correctly says here, you could potentially have 3D for a couple more years in Photoshop.
Okay. Right, well,
of course, all of the 3D stuff better placed in the Substance suite, where if you're doing that sort of stuff. I love this sort of angular, rectilinear type.
It's happening very crudely right now, but we will.
That's fantastic! Scream!
But I'll sort of for the finished post, I will sort of tidy that up a bit and get a slightly neater version. Oh, okay. We have at least something resembling a title that we would.
I love it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Move that away. Well, you know.
This is an exciting exercise, though.
It's kind of the look. So if we just crop that. I'll create a finished version. We kind of there really. I could fiddle about with that all day long, and probably will actually. But because there's a headless doll to go on there. She needs adding to the cover actually. That looks nice. Yeah. So
overlay, of course, always good for simulating overprinting, which is
love
good.
an overlay. Yeah. So like I say, I'll go ahead and add the little bits that we sort of haven't got time for, and maybe put the spine together as well. So a simulation in the right colours of a modern take on a brand new book. So only the second version of that cover ever to be created.
Yep. No, it's good, and people loving it. Of course, it's as usual. Fantastic, Sarah. Really good, and it's always epic spending this time with you while you work on these things. I love it. I'm gonna have to visit you at some point. When it's all good to do that, and
Well, you know where I am.
Drawing sesh. Yeah, indeed.
You drove past it the other day.
I did. Yeah. So we'll do that. But no, thanks again for joining us. Don't forget, everybody, come along, join us on Discord. Don't forget also to sign up for Max. Get in there, 26th to the 28th of October. Absolutely free. You cannot believe the amount of talent and special guests that are on there. A couple of late nights if you're watching into the US streams, but they've been very, very sensitive to viewers in other countries around that this year as well. So lots to see. Go ahead and register for that. Sarah, fantastic to see you. Do
Likewise.
This time again, and thank you so much. So
thanks for having me.
It's grand, always grand. All right, and we'll see everybody on. No stream this Friday, of course. Adobe Global Day off. So we'll see everybody next week, and have a good one. Take care now. Bye.
See you soon.